sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim or Cimnanya. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn your notification so you are notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying a very big shout out to every one of you for the love, the support you all showing me here with. I am grateful, and you all are super sweet. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about something like a story a woman told about a black woman who actually, came for her daughter. She defended her daughter so well in her school. So it happened that, the daughter, she was in school, she was at work, and a boy was, pulling the girl's bra, like constantly kept doing it. And the girl was like, stop it, I don't like it. And she ended up reporting to the teacher because the boy continued harassing her, and the teacher was like, it's okay, it's not a big deal, and just let him be. And the boy continued doing that. And I'm going to say, I don't understand how some people became teachers, because that is sexual harassment. You don't sit at work and does your colleagues pull your pants or your zipper or something? I guess that the answer is no. But because the young lady is a black lady, you think it's okay for the young man to do whatever, because he's a colored person, to do whatever he wants. And then when the lady complained and the teacher did not do anything, she ended up smacking the boy in a way that he started bleeding. And they ended up calling the mother, and the mom came, asked questions, and the daughter told her what happened. And she said, I'm going to take my daughter home, and you ain't going to do shit. You will not do anything. And then she defended her daughter, defended herself, and tell them, this is just a big lesson for you all. Next time, when somebody says, do not continue, do not continue. Because what you were doing or what he did was sexual harassment on her. I am going to roll this clip. We'll come back to talk about it. I actually want to read all your comments. Let me know what you all think in the comments. So straight up, let's get into it.
I just read an incredible story about a mother who was called up to her daughter's school because her daughter punched a kid in the face. And this mother's response to this situation was just perfection. So I wanted to tell you this story. But before I do, I would like you guys to meet my dog, Eli. Eli! Okay, Eli's knocked the fuck out. He don't want to talk to y'all. This mom is an ER nurse, right? And apparently her daughter's school had been trying to contact her on her cell phone for like 45 minutes and couldn't get a hold of her. Well, she's not allowed to have her phone on her at work. So they contact hospital reception. Hospital reception pages her up to the front so she can take the call. She gets on the phone. The principal's like, we need you to get down to the school right now. There's been an incident. And she's like, okay, well, is my daughter hurt? Like, can it wait until the end of my shift? And they're like, no, this is serious. You need to come right now. She rushes down to her daughter's school. She's ushered into the principal's office, and she's met by the principal, a female counselor, a male teacher. Her daughter is there, a male student who she hit, and that boy's mother and father. The principal makes a passive-aggressive comment about her showing up late. Like, oh, wow, so good of you to join us. We've only been sitting here for 45 minutes. And she's like, yeah, sorry about that. I was busy putting 40 stitches into a 7-year-old's face because his mother beat him with a metal ladle, and then I had to deal with the police afterwards. So, I'm here now. What's going on? The principal's like, well, apparently this boy was snapping your daughter's bra, and your daughter punched him in the face twice. This kid's nose is bloody. His face is red. He is messed up. She's like looking around the room and realizing that everyone in the room sees her daughter's behavior as the problem and not the boy's behavior. And she's like, so have you called me up here so that I can press charges for sexual, against this boy? Because it sounds like that's what needs to happen here. The boy's mom just starts crying her eyes out. The dad looks angry and embarrassed. And the principal's like, whoa, like, let's not get hasty here. And she's like, no, I don't want to hear from you anymore. And she looks to her daughter and is like, what happened? Her daughter goes, this boy kept snapping my bra, and I kept asking him to stop, and he wouldn't stop. So I went to my teacher, the male teacher who was there, and asked him if he could make him stop. And the male teacher told her to just ignore it. Of course, this boy snaps her bra again, this time so hard that it unhooked. And so at that point, she was done. She just walloped this kid. The mom is, of course, pissed. So she looks to the male teacher and she goes, let me get this straight. My daughter went to you for help and protection, and you did nothing. And now we're in this office because my daughter stood up for herself when no one else would? The male teacher predictably responds with, well, she didn't need to hit him. And she says, then what would you have her do? What was she supposed to do in this situation? Because it sounds like you're suggesting that she was to allow this kid to continue to assault her in a sexually inappropriate way. And at that point, the male teacher was speechless, and the principal interjects and is like, we are here to address the issue of your daughter striking another student. And the mom looks to the male teacher and goes, come here, let me snap at your pant button. And the male teacher is like, you know, and she goes, okay, how about this? Why don't you go snap the bra of your female colleague over here? The male teacher is like, I mean, obviously this is ridiculous. And the mom's like, yeah, exactly. Because you understand that there are boundaries around people's bodies. So why are those boundaries not enforceable for my daughter? And why is this boy not being held accountable for violating them? Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take my daughter home and you're going to do nothing to her. And this boy, it sounds like he's learned his lesson. So if he doesn't want a police report filed against him, he's going to keep his hands off of my daughter. And then she looks to her daughter and she's like, let's go. She contacts the superintendent, reports the school, the principal specifically, for what happened. And the superintendent thankfully did the right thing and responded back to her and said, don't worry, we are dealing with this harshly, was the superintendent's words. The moral of this story is that we have to teach our children young that this kind of behavior is not okay. This is where the socialization of little boys into great culture begins. It starts young. It starts when we don't hold our little boys accountable for violating the boundaries of little girls' bodies. It starts when we tell little girls that they are more responsible when they stand up for themselves than for the little boys who violated them. It starts when we tell little girls, he's just pulling his hair or hitting you because he likes you, instead of telling little girls, that is not okay. And this little boy needs to learn that that is not okay. We as mothers of little boys are to teach our little boys what consent means, what boundaries are, and what respect is in terms of other people's bodies. We need to teach our girls that this kind of behavior is not okay. It doesn't matter if this little boy likes you. That is disrespectful, and you don't have to take that. We do that in the exact way that this mother did, by standing up for her daughter to the principal and to the entire school, and ensuring that this kind of behavior is no longer allowed to be perpetuated. That teacher who did not protect her daughter when she went to him for help is part of the problem. That principal who attempted to hold her daughter more accountable for defending herself than the boy who assaulted her is part of the problem. That female counselor who could have been a third line of defense for her daughter and did nothing, and in fact joined in on this persecution of her daughter, is part of the problem. And those parents, if they don't choose to do the right thing and hold their son accountable for his behavior, will be part of the problem. Hopefully that boy's parents decided to be part of the solution by holding their boy accountable. This is where we change the culture. We change the culture through the ways that we parent our children. If you are a parent, you have an obligation to society to parent your child in a way that does not uphold and contribute to systems of oppression and harm that are perpetuated against marginalized groups. You are responsible for the way that your child shows up in the world. Parenting is the greatest form of activism that you will ever take part in. Make sure that you are doing it right. This mother's response to the situation was just perfect.
Go back and listen to that story. I highly recommend it. It's a really good one. But it also reminded me of a situation that I encountered. I was in the passenger side of my mom's car, and we were stuck in a little bit of traffic. And as I was looking over, I noticed there were a few, teenagers standing by a bus stop. These guys could have been maybe about, 14, 15 maybe. It's probably about 4 of them there. In this group of friends, there was a couple, and then another girl and a guy. In the beginning, it kind of looked like they were just sort of roughhousing and playing a little bit. But at one point, the girl was like, no, I'm not into it anymore. And then the guy kept going after her. He kept trying to hit her or get her or whatever. And she was like, no, I'm not into it. Stop. And she was walking away and trying to get away from him. And I'm watching this happen in front of me, and I'm watching the couple, and they're kind of like canoodling a little bit, but they're also watching what's happening in front of them too. And as I'm watching this girl like trying to get away from this guy, I'm starting to get really angry. After a couple of seconds, I'd had enough. I literally scream out the window, "No! Stop!" Immediately. She didn't even know where the voice was coming from. She was like, "Thank you!" And the look of shock on this guy's face. I look right at him. I'm still screaming out the window, and I'm like, "She said stop. That's the end of it." By this time, the traffic started to move up a little bit, so I'm starting to get past them. And the couple is like, the guy of the couple is like, "Oh, it's okay. They're just playing around." I was like, no. She said no. That should end it. And then traffic kept moving some more, and I was out of earshot. But I just couldn't let this injustice continue on. Even if they started off playing, if she said stop or no, it should stop. And the fact that he was like, and I think I actually heard him say, like, "I really want to try to get you," or something like that. Like, he was determined. Like, he really wanted to hit her. At the end of the day, it's none of my business. I was in my car. I was going where I was going. But I'm a true believer in it takes a village. And there was no way that I could, like, that couple was canoodling and they were watching what was happening and it didn't seem to bother them. But it bothered me. And I'm really glad that I said something because it made a difference for that girl because she was being harassed. She was not enjoying herself. She said no, she said stop, and this guy kept on going. So yeah, young boys need to be held accountable. They need to be taught at a young age what is acceptable and what is not acceptable because hitting a girl is not a way to let her know that you like her.
I just read an incredible story about a mother who was called up to her daughter's school because her daughter...
Okay, so this is insane. I'm watching this video and I'm just flabbergasted. Seriously. Like, teach your kids better, man.
All right, so real quick, I encourage everyone to watch the video, especially if you are parents of young boys. The way that this mother handled the situation was amazing. It was incredible. And the way that this content creator explains how everything went down and her viewpoints afterward were really good. And she's absolutely correct. We need to start teaching young boys that they need to respect girls and their bodies. And we need to teach young girls that if these boys do not respect their bodies, then breaking their nose is not out of the question. Additionally, at school board meetings, we need to make it emphatically clear that when a young boy decides to pull on the bra of a girl, that is viewed as sexual harassment. It's not flirting. The girl doesn't like it. It is not okay. And the schools need to understand that and stop setting the standard for girls to follow and give boys the exception. We see it all the time, especially with the dress code. The dress code is so annoying to me. And I haven't had to deal with this for a number of years. My daughters are grown up and they're adults. But when they were in school, the dress code applied to girls. It did not apply to boys. It's time to change that narrative.
I actually have a similar story to this that happened to me in 5th grade. Thankfully, my teacher was much more understanding about it because, of course, she was a female teacher. So I had this total creep in my social studies class. Let's just call him James. James decided that it was a smart idea to reach up under my uniform skirt and pinch my butt at the end of social studies class. Of course, I'm not putting up with that shit, so I turned around and smacked him with our history book. Unfortunately for James, that was the biggest textbook we actually had at the time. My teacher notices the disruption, calls the both of us up to her. She asks what happened. I told her what happened, and she just said, "You know what, James, that's a lesson for you." So, James, if you grew up and you're out there watching this, I hope you really did learn that lesson.
So this is all I got from the stitches, and a very big shout out to the mother. And she's a black woman. Actually, the comment section actually told me that she is a black woman. And also, when the person narrated the story in the end, she talked about marginalized groups. She did not want to, like, make it a race thing or something. But then let me tell you all something. I mean, how do somebody told, I mean, a young lady tells you that I do not want you doing this to me, and you think it's okay to keep pulling her bra, not until he unhooked the bra. And she reported to the teacher. And the teacher, I don't know why they always behave like this, especially when it comes to a black person. I mean, like when you are black, nothing concerns them. They don't want to do anything. They don't even want to see reasons with you and all that. I mean, their palm-colored child is always like, you know, at right and the rest of it. Because if the man had listened to that young lady, and then spoke to the young man who was doing all that to her, I am sure that thing would not have escalated. But because he did not think it is okay to be on the side of a young black woman, that was how the whole thing escalated. And then some men are going to sit down. I don't know, but this is just a very horrible thing. And some people can actually do better. And then let me come to the, I mean, we can do better with training our boys. When somebody says no, it is no. Do not overdo it. Don't say you are trying to play. Don't say you are making jokes, because there are some things you don't make jokes around with. You don't make joke with people's body. And especially when they tell you, do not continue this. Just stop it, for crying out loud. And it is actually sexual harassment for you to touch a young lady's, like any person touch somebody's bra. It is sexual harassment. And I love the way the woman treated the whole case. And at the same time, that the daughter, she trained her daughter really right to stand up for herself. And this is something we need to do for ourselves, do for our kids, especially the girls. Teach them how to defend themselves. I mean, how to really defend themselves. So that when all these men try, because this is how it starts. He has started pulling somebody's bra. At what age? Probably in high school. He has started pulling bra. Maybe when he gets to college, I don't know what he's going to pull. We can do better. Let's teach our sons how to behave, how to be good to young girls, how to be good to girls, how not to hit a girl, how not to touch a girl's private part. Because you don't wake up and touch somebody's body without consent. And you tried it, she warned you. She reported you. But the teacher thinks, yeah, it's all right, it's okay. They were just messing up. They were just kids. They were just playing. And not until they smacked the person real hard and blood was coming out, then you say she does not have to smack or hit the person. When they brought that to you, you did not say anything or do the right thing as a man. Shame on him. And a very big kudos to the mother, a very big kudos to the daughter. They did a great job. Next time. This is a very big, huge lesson. I am sure that young boy will never ever try it in his life. Yes. They want to make case out of it. Go make case. This is where I am going to draw the curtain and see you all in my next video. Bye for now.